right, let me copy the note with. Got it. Where's so we are here. This is the Illusion reporting from somewhere on Spaceship Earth with Stuart J Hooper. How are you, my brother? My brother.
Yeah, we're all good here, and good to be back online with the show as well. Been a few weeks, but hopefully we can get on back.
It's been a hiatus. Let me just you chat for a second, fill everybody into what you're up to, and I'll get this all dialed in here.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, hey everyone, and welcome to the stream. Good to have you all here as always. I'm a lecturer in political science at a little university out here in Oklahoma. Don't let the accent fool you. And also currently completing my PhD in international politics. And that is exploring specifically the role of technology and specifically fourth industrial revolution technologies like artificial intelligence, quantum computing, drones, lethal autonomous weapons, all this sort of really nice stuff, how that's influencing world affairs, and who is in particular taking advantage of that, which is of course the military industrial complex. I do a little YouTube channel of my own here, which I would love to have as many of you come over there and be subscribers as well. That would be awesome. And I've also been trying to get more into this sort of stuff as well. So I've been a guest on a radio show a couple of times over the past month. Just did a podcast with another guy. When was that? A couple of days ago, called Geopolitics and Empire. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of that, Hamish, but would highly recommend
No.
and anyone else who's interested in it. The good thing about his show is that he will have on anyone from any side of the political spectrum with any idea. So he's willing to listen to everyone. Yeah, which is absolutely, I think, positive, and where we all need to be, regardless of where we think we are. Unless you can talk to the other side and have a discussion, well, it just descends into violence, and a sort of really nasty violence that we've seen play out in the United States over just the last week or so. But yeah, otherwise, we've been doing this show here on Hamish's channel for
what's gone on in the what's going on in the United States in the last week, dude?
Yeah, what happened?
I don't know, man. It's what there. All right, there we go. That's saved. Okay. Stuart's link to his channel is in the description down below. No, I mean seriously,
specifically the shooting that occurred in the supermarket.
That nonsense, dude.
Yeah. Well, how do we get to that position for when we allow ourselves to be?
That wasn't even a good one, dude. That wasn't even
riled up.
That wasn't even. Wait, I think I got the. No, all right, here we go. All right, let me. I think we're good, and yeah, there's the. You mean the cutout? Yeah, that stuff. I don't know, dude. That was
the guy who live streamed himself. I think that's just really just coming from not a fantastic place at all. Any of that sort of thing. And just the fact
that screams 6-week cycle to me, man. You know about the 6-week cycle, right? With the FBI.
No, I've not heard that term before.
Yeah, if you go look at, man, it's right on cue with that one's getting no traction with me. You mean the perfectly timed nut job with the cut and paste manifesto from New Zealand with the Nazi regale, dude? That guy again? Yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm way more skeptical about all this stuff nowadays, more than ever, man. you know, I've gone fully the other direction with it all in the last. I mean, this Ukraine thing panned out to be just the fraud of all frauds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is what it's all if it's all a smoke screen, man. I don't know. Is there really any violence going on in America, Stuart? You're in the heartland. I don't know, dude.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not.
This is a pretty violent city, that's for sure.
I'll tell you what is if you don't turn it on, it's not happening. Like there's just I don't see it, man. I you know, it's funny. I have a pretty I have a new, like, I guess it's a city. I guess Bakersfield's a city. I go down to Bakersfield about every 10 days, right? To I call it pre-apocalypse, dude. Bakersfield's like a pre-apocalyptic city. It's pretty thrashed. It's got all the components. It's pretty rough. Ain't anything going on down there, dude. There's just for those who want it, it's happening to them. For everybody else, they're just going about everyone's just going about their business, dude. There's no smoke and there's no, you know what I mean? Like I'll buy that America's descended into some sort of violent hellhole when literally there's just carnage in the streets, dude. You know,
well, it may not be too far away from that.
I don't see it, man. I think they would like it. I think they're doing their very best to invoke it, but I don't see it at this point, man. I think it's all coming from the powerless elite and their desperate need to convince everybody to keep paying attention. I'll give you, that's been since I've last talked to you, I've been up here over a month.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing going on, dude. It's all smoke and mirrors. Like literally, dude, it's all smoke and mirrors. Like there's life.
Maybe now you're just so far removed from it, out there in the idyllic mountains of California.
No, I mean, look, whatever it is it's here. But what I'm getting at is look, I see where I'm in the flight path of China Lake's Naval Weapons Station, right? So they fly over roughly 4 to 6 times a day, 2 paired up, F-18s or whatever, blasting up the river valley here. Yeah, you get to watch the military hardware zip on by, man, and I think for me I think that everybody's real. Like I've kind of had this epiphany that what if it's just not that deep? What if it's really just shallow, the whole thing? Yeah, I'm gonna stick to my original, I guess I'm gonna stick to my original. There are no nukes, dude, and I think I'm being vindicated on that point of view daily in the Ukraine. As that debacle continues, there are no nukes. They would have been used already. I would have used them if there were those. Why wouldn't you have used them at this point? You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason not to. I mean, turning off everyone's gas and grain, and that's the best you can do. Nobody cares that the gas is going to be $10 a gallon. Nobody cares, dude. Nobody's going to stop driving their big trucks up the canyon, up the river to go fishing, dude. I just don't see it. I think for those that I think they picked the wrong wrong place to have the big dust up. I think it was pretty captivating for like a week there, like when it first happened, like because you had that sort of video game untapped modern European cities with tanks blowing over cars and buildings popping and chaos. And then it just, you really just seen that it's just descended into the grossest of gross, that there are no heroes on either side. It's just barbarism for the sake of barbarism, because that's what that part of the world does. Like, that's what they've been doing for as far back as you can watch any animated historical cartoon you want about it. Like, that's what's been going on there. We were talking about it before it started. Like, so they don't seem to be wanting to stop anytime soon, man. You can show all the weirdos you want, man, but like, I ain't buying. I ain't waving a flag for anybody.
Yeah, that's probably the
you know what I mean?
at this point. Yeah, because we see that the inevitable has now happened. NATO is expanding. Finland and Sweden set to join. Finland being, of course, the most important in that equation because it shares a multi-hundred-mile land border with Russia. They've had some really interesting things that they've said about that. There have been some Russian defense officials that have said this is the end of the world. This is not going to stand. We're going to do something about this. We're going to do it now. But Putin, on the other hand, has said, well, these countries are free to do whatever they want. If they want to join NATO, that's fine. But if they start establishing military installations, well, then we may do something about it. Then we may step in and I guess intervene to some degree. But yeah, I wouldn't suggest that anyone comes out openly in support of either side there in terms of a militaristic fashion. What needs to happen there is there needs to be a negotiated, peaceful solution. It needs to come as soon as possible. How you get there? Well, I think a good way to get there would be stop signing new checks for billions of dollars in weapons to go over to Ukraine every other week. That would probably be a good starting point.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I've become like as a person who discerns, right? The more there's no stopping it, whatever it is. And what is it, right? It's like whoever was like, am I denying the Buffalo shooting? No, I'm people are crazy. People are certifiably crazy. And that's good enough for me. Is there some mass thing going on? If there is, it's pretty pathetically weak and unentertaining. Like, I can get into it on a certain level, but then again, I sent you that link. Did you get that show from 1968 on the BBC I sent you?
Mm-hmm.
That was like a chunk of gold that Howie McCoskey sent out on his channel, and I watched and I was like, yeah, dude, like I should put the link up to that thing. I think it's all a fraud, like across the board, beyondo. And I think that the whole thing is to get you to not focus in on where your feet are. And like, look, I mean, not to be brash or whatever, but look, everybody in the Ukraine has gotten exactly what they wanted. And that's what they wanted. And those people who are they sat back and chose to do nothing about it. And they were sitting there. They could have left. Anyone who was hanging out there is like, I don't know, man. I just don't like when you say like the checks and work peace and all of this stuff. That's not what people want. It's not. That's not what people want to get all riled up about. This and that and blah blah blah. Like the fact of the matter is that's what $54 billion has been hustled over to NGOs and the State Department and the military industrial complex in the last 90 days, right? Under the guise of freeing somebody. So what? Like, so what? Like, I mean, seriously, like I guess that's where I've come to the thing, Stuart, is like, so what?
Have you just given up all
Why not
hope at
make
this point?
No, it's the exact opposite. Is like, I so see it the other way now. It's like, so what? I've come to that weird thing where we're like, the only reason it lasted so long, the only reason that the Ukraine situation lasted so long is because anyone paid attention to it. Literally, if we had ignored it, it would have stopped like 10 days later. If we'd just been like gone about our business and been like, yeah, whatever, it would have been over. Like all these hustlers with their drones and their alliances and their treaties, and the World Health Organization signing a treaty to take our sovereignty away, and monkeypox and lunatic shooters and $10 a gallon gas prices and all of it. None of it cares. Like none of it really matters at the end of the day, does it? I mean, I'm just asking as like the machine only works because we're paying attention to it. What if it's that weird saying, right? If you had a war and nobody showed up, could you have a war?
Yeah, that's all well and good. That's all well and good until the robot armies start rolling out, which they will be in the coming decades. And then the robots will be raging war until they run out of batteries.
All right. So I mean, that's where I guess I've gone. Okay, I guess this is the perspective you've got me kind of, I've shifted a weird gear on the thing. What are you going to do about it, dude?
Mm-hmm.
So as a dude who's fully like keeps informed, likes to read, likes to check it all out, is wonky about it all. Like I'm not sitting up here in a bubble, not like I haven't turned it off, so to speak. But I go, so what are you going to do about it? And I go, at the end of the day, like me personally, I've done everything you should do. I've gone back to the land. I'm trying to grow my own food. I'm cutting. I don't drive as much. I don't do all the things I used to. I don't pay attention to their drama as much. And then you really realize that if they're going to send robot armies, right? Like robot armies to come and chop us all apart, what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do? If they're going to send, like, so let's say you were like some, I don't know, wheat farmer in the area between in Eastern Ukraine, out there in the middle somewhere. What were you going to do? Were you going to be able to like those, like, so if you go back to 2014, right? I've been checking out, I watch a lot of like YouTube channels that are expats reporting from the Russian side of the front, dude, like the Graham Parker and that one, the lunatic you gave me, and some of these other guys, right? And this one dude did a pretty good breakdown of Mariupol in 2014, right? and showed the referendum that people passed and the whole thing that went on in 2014. So what? So everybody had already decided back then. So if you like, you were paying attention to it back in 2014. I was. Like, the decision had been made already then that was going to be the sacrificial lamb. Those people were on the chopping block. Guaranteed there was some dudes that were there going, bro, this is going to go sideways. And then all of a sudden, you're like, it gets weird, and you're going to leave in the middle of the night and try to get through some checkpoint. And you wonder why you're carcassed on the side of the road. I think that like, I guess what I'm getting at is like the inevitability of it all is written out. So now what? Like, yeah, they're going to do their weird dance, but I don't buy into half their tricks anymore. I do not believe that there is thermonuclear weapons threatening humanity. I don't believe that there is an environmental catastrophe heading our way the way they describe it. I think there's an environmental catastrophe heading our way. Absolutely, dude. But not the way they're selling it. Do I think that the military industrial complex is coming for me? No. Do I think that any sort of that they're coming for the undesirables around the world who have ancient structures in their backyard? Absolutely, dude. I think that and so when I see the thing, I go, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do if they're all meeting in Davos right now, dude? Claiming it's the right, isn't Davos this week? Right? Claiming they're doing it for the environment and the whole thing. Like, so what? That's what, and I'm not just discrediting the study and the work on it. I just go, well, so what's everyone going to do about it? Because you have half the people that are going to go do nothing and just like business as usual, which is the ultimate hubris in modern America. Just, yeah. And then you have the other group of people that are going to clutch their pearls the whole time. And both of them are bringing it in, from what I can tell. When I think there's a middle road to go right now, and it's super positive and it's super hopeful. And none of it involves their weird pieces of paper. Like, their paper isn't valid. I mean, I don't know where like it's this thing with, I don't delve too much into like your spiritual take on it all, but like, what makes you think that their treaties and paperwork are valid?
Well, as long as people make things valid, it's valid. That's kind of how you can approach this sort of stuff. It's not from this is a big critique of the libertarians and the gold bugs out there. The people are like, oh, buy gold, buy silver, buy silver. Well, people are still only doing that because human beings have said that this stuff is valuable. It's not because it actually is technically valuable, right? It's not like there's some divine quality that this stuff has. It's not like it's the elixir of immortality or something.
Technically, silver is, though. Silver actually is super beneficial for multiple purposes besides sitting in your closet. But anyway, gold, I don't know.
Don't go consuming your gold and silver coins, everyone, though. We're not.
Look, as I always say, dude, the best part about collecting precious metals is I can throw it at your head, dude.
Yeah, I mean, exactly right. That's kind of the bottom line of the point. But yeah, ultimately, it could all just be worthless if we decided that it was worthless. But yeah, I think there's just a lot of problems generally, and I think especially the United States, in that people don't want to see how they relate to other people as much as how they are different from other people. I think that's kind of a big problem. I think people would much rather see differences than connections. And now we have an entire generation that has been brought up on the idea that differences are what matter most, right? Identity politics, of course, what I'm kind of alluding to there. And what has identity politics really done? Well, it's thrown economics under the bus, class politics under the bus. So the idea of you being able to relate to someone is now purely, according to this perspective, based upon whether or not you share a skin color or you share a gender, this sort of stuff. And if you don't share that, well, then your opinion is not valid, or you don't have the right experience, and therefore you can't talk on the issue, this sort of thing, which is fantastic for a ruling class which bases itself upon the absolute economic exploitation of masses of people, because the ruling class certainly does not care what color your skin is, doesn't care what gender you identify as. The only thing that it cares about is whether or not you're a good little worker bee in their system, whether you're a good slave in their system, really. Which I think when you look at the fact that the minimum wage in this country hasn't been raised in I think it's like 11 years now. I think it was 10 years last year. I think it's now looking at 11 years, something like that. This kind of comes back to what you were saying. When people just sit back and let that be the reality that they live within, that's a problem. And I don't know why people are not angrier about this sort of stuff. And again, a critique of the Western world, United States and United Kingdom in particular. We're very distracted with a lot of things that don't matter. Celebrity culture, sports, movies, music, all this sort of stuff, which again, we all have outlets and things that we like to do. But we kind of live in a society where the vast majority of people, they're the only things that they actually care about. They don't care about how the world works. They don't care about anything that really has a tangible impact on their life, because I think they actually share this worldview that you've just rattled off over the last 10 minutes, Hamish. What do you do? What do you do about it? And I think most people do feel powerless to a degree. And then they allow themselves to be distracted by all this other stuff. They completely check out the system and they don't care. So I think we have a big problem in that, structurally speaking, there are not enough people that care about these issues, and they are more than happy to wallow in where they are instead of wanting to get out of that situation.
Well, I see. Look, so part of moving into you have to understand, I lived in the shiniest of shiny zones, right? West Side, Los Angeles, Malibu, California. That part of the world, I would say, is in the bubble of the shine, right? The shiny bubble. And I operate within that realm of in a not in the G-Wagon part of it, but I operate in the periphery of it, let's say, protected by it within the bubble. I can come and go into the bubble if I so please. Elysium, whatever you want to call it, dude. And then you move out to a rural place like this, and you see people that are exactly what you mentioned. And I've come to realize that they're the same people, that they're just opposite sides of the same coin. The one thinks that the possession, they both think the possession of shiny things and trinkets and stuff is going to save them. The shiny people live in lack. right? Their environment is based upon extraction, limited resources, accumulation of these limited resources. The other ones, who are the downtrodden, live actually in abundance, like in this world abundance of like the abundance of earth, if you will. So when we live in North America, we have what very few places, we have abundance of land, resources, water, maneuverability, all of this stuff, right? But you see these people, they live in these rural communities, and they think that the abundance is with the people that live in the lack. So the people living in the shiny thing, they live in the lack. That's why they're accumulating so much Range Rovers and titty jobs and Lear jets and vacation miles and I just got to go, kiting one more time, and I just go on a surf trip. Whatever, to get tan, get laid, get whatever. That's the lack model, right? And the people that live in the abundance have been convinced that they need to live in the lack model in order to be happy, not realizing that they're closer to what it is than the people in the abundance, because they live in the lack. And as I see these two demographics that are demographically by socioeconomic realities totally divergent, they're the exact same group of people. Just one takes care of their body, the other doesn't take care of the body. One lives with a clean yard, the other lives with a dirty yard, but they're both operating in the same, bought into the hustle, if you will, right? And I realized that if those people stop doing that, I'm screwed. And what I mean by that, and I'm going to give Pockets of the Future a lot of credit for this, is if everybody woke up and discovered the truth, this whole thing would implode so radically, and nobody's ready for that. So in order for us to really like do something about it, we got to play a generational game, right? If too many people wake up right now in 2022 to the hustle that's going on with the pharmaceuticals and the military industrial complex and these puppet leaders and Davos and this and that and this and that, if too many people wake up to that, we don't have a chance. What I've really realized is we need people to actually stay fully plugged in for a couple of generations here in order for us to like propagate offspring that are put into these like, and again, to steal the idea is these pockets of the future. Like the system's gone, dude. There's no saving it, dude. Like there is zero hope of saving this global system. There's no power. They have no power. Their robots can't do shit. Their system sucks, dude. Elon and all the scammers and hustlers and the whole thing, at the end of the day, dude, I can barely get a signal out of California, dude. Right? So, and I'm not in some backwater either, dude. It's literally a kind of a running joke around here. Like we're not in like Zambia or somewhere. They probably got better service than we do. But what I'm getting at is I've kind of gone full the other, like really just had this epiphany slip. Is like, dude, let everybody like do this. Cause I need the wiggle room. Like selfishly, like I need everybody to stay glued to their panic button and putting their emoji flags in their thing and worrying about the shooters and the gas pumps, because at the end of the day, like I've seen enough to know that it doesn't matter what the minimum wage is, what the price of a tank of gas is, how much it is for a loaf of bread. It doesn't matter, dude. You ain't doing nothing about it. You can't do anything about it, but your internal value is priceless. what you view, if you view yourself as the leader of your own reality, doesn't matter what minimum wage is, dude. Who cares? I remember being tricked by all that stuff, dude. Look, I can speak from, I remember being a full, before I got sober, I was a full, it's those guys stealing our jobs, coming up over here to do this, and those guys over there, and keeping me down and keeping me down and keeping me down. Wasn't the minimum wage. It wasn't the IRS. It wasn't the cops. It wasn't the illegals. It wasn't the government. It was me. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for that though. I'm all for the you're an individual and you have individual powers to change where you are. But there are also structural forces that do exist, and they do matter, and they do pressure on certain segments of society more than others, and they do keep certain people where they think that they're supposed to be. Some of those ones you rattled off, right? Police forces, this sort of thing, and especially.
Well, I mean,
go ahead.
I mean I mean, look at Malcolm X, dude. No one really wants to look into Malcolm X. Like, that dude laid it all out. Like, he gave everybody the answer, the code. Like, this isn't that, like, the systematic thing actually is the thing that frees us in a weird way, right? Like, it's only the naivete to think that there isn't a grid, no matter what. It's like this weird thing that people keep saying. It's like, oh, you're getting off the grid. There's no such thing as getting off the grid. And it's impossible. Like, you're on the grid electromagnetically speaking, whether you're in a cave meditating by yourself for 1,000 years, like one of those crazy dudes who never sits down in India, right? Or you're driving around in your Range Rover. It's all like, what do you want it to be? Do you want it to be your captivity, or do you want to see it as your liberation? And in there, it really is. Look, you're talking to a dude who has watched people turn on Martin Luther King, dude, in his lifetime. A society that's turned on Martin Luther King, dude. Like, where I don't view it as hopeless. I'm just going, how are you ever coming up against the cyborg robot people with their drones and their BS if we still are debating the validity of Martin Luther King because we want to dig into his personal life and go, that dude was an adulterer and this and that, and just miss the entire message. Like, and I that's where I go, dude. You're never going to convince me that war is a valid concept, right? Like, ever. Not going to do it, dude. You can call me a right winger, you can call me a left winger, you can call me a patsy, you can call me anything you want, dude. You can call me late for dinner. I don't care. You're not going to convince me that war is an operating concept that I want to participate on, because at the end of the day, I am Hiroshima and Nagasaki, dude. I am the killer, dude. I am that which I fear the most, right? So like, that's why I guess I've had that weird thing where, like, dude, they don't want to change it. People don't want to change it. Only the people, you want to change it, right, Stuart? Like, my advice, dude, seriously, is to forget about it. Go get your wife pregnant. Go buy a chunk of land with the book you've written about their bullshit. Sell it to whatever. Do your hustle and just smoke screen it, and go and raise some dairy cows and some goats.
Yeah, no, I get
and
what
and
I get where you're
beef at
coming
your
from.
own.
And
Yeah, because the people that want to be eaten by the machine are going to jump in its mouth, like,
yeah, I'm totally
willingly, dude.
I'm definitely 100% with you on the current system is irreparable. There is no way of fixing it. It's broken. I mean, you just look at these people online on Twitter, especially, and you'll see these people that come up, right? And they're in their bio, it will say stuff like Democrat, resistance, and the squad for life, and all this sort of stuff. Or Trump, MAGA, Trump really won the election, all this sort of stuff. And you just look at these people and it's just like, yeah, neither of those two parties is trying to help you out. No matter how much you think that they are, no matter how much time, effort, attention, money that you funnel into these two entities, neither of them is the solution. And unfortunately, in the United States, well, that means that there is no real solution within the current system, because that is the current system. So yeah, in terms of changing things, yeah, to a degree, it is kind of it is almost pointless. And I actually had this discussion with my PhD supervisor a couple of weeks ago, actually, because I've been trying to get some stuff published, right? Which takes a very critical perspective on mainstream academic political science. I don't come at it from the perspective of this is a democracy. I don't come at it from the perspective of there's a good way of looking at it versus bad way of looking at it. As you guys know that have seen these streams before, I come at it from the elite theory angle, the C. Wright Mills, power elite, this sort of stuff. Well, trying to get anything like that published, even in an academic journal, which you'd think is supposed to be open to new ideas, open to new thoughts, the response has not been forthcoming. So I actually said to my advisor a couple of weeks ago, have I just completely wasted my time with this? Is this even worth pursuing? Because I'm clearly asking questions and tackling ideas that most people don't either want to admit are real, or they genuinely don't think that these are real problems. So yeah, ultimately it does come down to that. Well, what do you do? And that's kind of, yeah, the question that I'm still wrestling with.
Well, I mean, on that level is it's like someone said it doesn't matter. No, it totally matters. Like that, but it has to matter to you, right? Like that's what I meant about it. You're never gonna get me to sway from my anti-war position. You're not gonna get me to do it, dude. And you're not going to get me to do these. I've crossed that. I know exactly what you're saying. Like, there's a way to make money doing what you do. The way to make that money compromises your integrity, because in order to do that, you would actually have to validate their point of view and not ask those questions. And someone will buy it because you're smart enough. You know how to do it. You know the hustle. But at the end of the day, you are a pocket of the future. And you're like, if I did that, where would it end up in the long run? Right. And that's sort of where I think that where the whole thing is compromised on itself. Right. So, and to me, there's nothing finer than watching. That's why I've been watching the people being interviewed in the Ukraine, not the dumb sun footage and all the the column blew up and all that stuff. I like to watch the peripheral, like for example, like the Indigo Traveler, right? The Indigo Traveler, who's I was a much respected traveler. He just went into the Ukraine. Like he's just become another toady for the proliferation of polarized thinking. as far as it goes, is justifying war based upon there's a voodoo man in the corner. And it's like that thing. It's like, and I'll say it again, is you have people standing in the crater of their reality, pointing that way, going, those people did it, not realizing that both those people did it. And you've now codified it as legitimate. The destruction of your house or your neighborhood or your community or your little city or your family or children, whatever was destroyed, the minute you go, bad man did it, you justify the other bad men on your side, you have now codified the legitimacy of the destruction of your reality because you've not seen through the haze. And I've seen a couple of these people in these. I was watching one of the, and Patrick Lancaster had it, is have you seen the Graham guy, the bald-headed dude who's in Mariupol, the British guy? He's he's beefs with Lancaster, dude, but he's an interesting character. But Patrick Lancaster had this interview with this woman in some basement, dude, in that destroyed city. And she was like, they've all done this, dude. We are the fodder of their bitch fest, basically. And that's where I go. It matters is you best not sign up for one of the teams. The team is us, humanity, you, me. That's why we're doing this. What we needed to check in is this is the front lines. We are the front lines, the Diamond Souls, the tribe. This thing is because if we pick a side, if we go and go, dude, it's the shooter, it's the this, it's the that, we've become fodder to the cannons, dude. All we have to rise above it all, dude. And I think that's what about you, this conundrum you've got with your thesis coming out is the minute you compromise that thing, you now justify the destruction of your own reality. And
yeah, I even said to him, maybe I should just shut up shop and send Lockheed Martin an email and say, hey, I've been studying American foreign policy for the past 3 years, and I think I know exactly how you can make a hell of a lot more money. Any chance you want to give me a position? And it would be so easy to do that, right? It would be so easy to just turn around and just go down that road. But then when you think about it in the long term, it's just, well, what is that really what we're trying to achieve here, right? Is that really useful in the overall scheme of things? I don't think so, not at all.
Well, I'll give you a thing from my story of my checkered past. Once upon a time in a land far, far away, a much younger version of me, much younger, was in it somewhere, and we went into the shop that had opened a little skate section, right? Back in the doldrums of skateboarding. And I went to the manager and I go, hey, your whole thing is wide open to be stolen. All your stuff's going to get stolen. And I was broke at the time. I go, how about you hook me up with a set of wheels? Because I'm telling you, dude, all your stuff can get stolen. And the guy was such a dick to me, dude, that I came back 2 weeks later and stole all the stuff. Because I was I'm trying to help you out here. You're an idiot, but this is how easy it is. And that's what I mean. And that's where I think that's where the younger humanity, the younger human being has to learn the lesson is I had to take on the karmic debt, if you will, the sin, the debasement of acting out that role instead of just walking on and being well, I warned the guy and carry on, right? So be it. I had to become the perpetrator of the circle, right? I was the boogeyman that I warned the dude about, though I didn't know I was the boogeyman that I warned the dude about until he pissed me off, and I justified my boogeyman-ness because I now sanctified by this interaction. And that's sort of the way I see it now, is with humanity and society as a whole, and maybe these globalists and these things, is this is such a immature methodology to operate a system. It's so, I'm gonna bludgeon you to prove to you need my protection. It's mafioso, and I think that that's for many of us who've done the darkness in life. We realize that we are the perpetrators of our own evil. Like what does it matter if they blow up, the robot armies come to get you, and you don't help out the little old lady crossing the street, dude, because you're a coward? You know, what does it matter? You know, I think that's where everybody's lost sight of this thing, and why it's coming unglued is what if it's not so deep? What if it's really just shallow depth? You know what I mean? Like, I've had this thing where I've just realized that like, as a dude who like thinks too much, what if the thought isn't that deep, and that lack of depth is the depth. It's like inverted, right? If everything's inverted. Because as a person who's like wanted to solve this, who's seen it. I mean, look, Stuart, I've been watching this my whole adult life, dude. Mm-hmm. It's made me insane. It's made me want to be violent. It's made me realize that violence will never work. It's made me realize pacifism will only work in a non-aggressive way, that when it comes to defense, I am a cold-blooded murderer, and all of these things. And then you talk to these civilians out there, right? Like with their Twitter accounts and their blue hair and their wokeness and then on the other side, those dudes are no different than the suit and ties and the lawyers and the jet setters claiming that they know what to do either. They're the same. They're almost like the shiny people and the poor people. And I look at it and I go, yeah, it's obvious, dude, that I don't even think that $54 billion is real, dude. I mean, I know it's not, like, technically, but like, I don't even think that it's real. Like the shifty hustle thing, like, you get what I'm saying? Like when you're talking about the treaties and the thing, I go, they don't need to move $54 billion over there, dude. Like, for what? Like, what is it, right? There's no $54 billion. You mean you're talking about a nation that's monetarily in debt more than the finances of all the world combined. So give them another, you know what? Write them a check for me for another 54 billion, dude. Well, I care. make it 354 billion, dude. What does it matter to me?
Yeah, I was listening to this guy called Michael Parenti. He's another academic that studied this sort of stuff and takes the critical perspective, empire, that sort of thing. And he was talking about how he once heard about this movement for a nationwide tax protest, which I think is perhaps almost if you really did want to fix the system as it is, that may be the only feasible option. Imagine if upwards of 70% of the people in this country refused to turn in their taxes. That's something that I think would have a significant impact on the system itself. I also think something along those lines, if you only had, say, 5% of the country turn out to vote in an election, just imagine the signal that would send. But yeah, that they're pretty obviously extreme methods, but I think they're probably, if you wanted to try to fix the system as it exists, I think they're the only two possible options.
Well, it's like on that tax thing, right? It's like when I had that gal on. She got. I don't think she wanted to come back on because she was like the whole with the affidavits and the paperwork and the whole thing. And I'm all for all that, like maritime law and all that kind of stuff, right?
Oh, she was one of those where they're trying to think the country's under a whole different system of law. And
well, I'm one of those too, dude. I like it's super obvious when you see it, but this is what where I where I bumped into, and I kept asking her the same question, and I asked the same question of the flat Earth guy, dude, that I had on, because I don't really care one way or the other, but all of these people. At the end of the day, even the Perenni guy you mentioned and all of these things, at the end of their whole thing, it all comes down to money, getting money from something or not giving money. But it all comes down to this dollar figure or Bitcoin symbol, whatever your monetary hustle is. And that's what I was asking her, because if we're operating in the maritime law and all this stuff, I would go, why do you need the money? Like, because that's a lower system, right? I speak as my personal relationship with God of my understanding. No one here has authority over me. I'm not short of cash. I'm not a renter on this planet. So I don't care about your taxes. I'll pay them. What do you want? Here, take it. Because I live in abundance, right? When I discovered the full tank method, and I'll call it that, the full tank method of driving. So when I used to be like broke and like always trying to make ends meet kind of guy, working and doing all that stuff, I used to be like, oh, I'm going to put X number in my gas tank today. And I budgeted it all out today. And then at some point I realized that mentality was actually costing me money. And that the most cost efficient thing to do was to fill my tank up to the fullest every time, dude, to my ability at the time, let's say. And because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's whatever's going to go on. You got to go do whatever you got to go on. But if you're limiting yourself, you're cutting off your potentiality. And it was that thing of going to the gas station and living as a pauper at the pump versus being like, dude, I got to just go do what I got to go do. So whatever's going on here is going on here. I can't get involved with that, dude. And I'm not knocking anyone who's got real decisions between, feeding a baby. And I'm not discounting that. What I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of these people that are trying to do the end run on the system, and they always are trying to get money from the system and I go, dude, stop validating their system by giving it that much credit. Fucking pay your taxes, because who cares anyhow, dude? It doesn't matter. The more I've paid my taxes with love and dignity and grace, the better my financial situation's gotten over time. The more I've been like, you know what? Here, take it. Get out of my hair, because what you want, God's got it on steroids around me, dude. I live in a according to the laws of thermodynamics, right? Why am I trying to get into it with the IRS? What do I care? you guys can neither make nor create energy, dude. Like the energy is abundant, dude. It's this, the reason that we're living in this world poverty of conflict and chaos, and the gatekeepers are running the show, is because we constantly are giving them the validity of like, I'm coming up against your thing. Like, no, dude, I'm on the opposite. Like, everyone should pay more taxes. Just flood them with their fakeness, dude. Just here, take it, dude. Suck it, man. What do you want? Take it all, dude. Now what? Now what do you want? Oh, you want my soul. Oh, well, you can't have my soul. So I'll be walking. Thank you very much. No. I don't need a drink to do it. Right. I guess it's like, I come from that alcoholic perspective, right? Like once you've regained your soul, now what do you got? I'm infinite because I come under the mandate of God. And that's what I mean about these. I'm not going to pay my taxes. I'm not like, yeah, it's just, you're giving the system power again. Fuck the system. And I don't mean like fuck it, burn it down. I mean just like, so what, dude? Wave at the cop. Wave at the corrupt dude and make him your friend. And at the same time, like I look at, we live in a society where the most corrupt people are the pious. So
I think the whole problem with that view, though, is that, well, that's all well and good for you as an individual that has broken free of the matrix, so to speak, and taken the red pill. But what about all the other people that are still trapped in it? And how that's
the choice they've made. That's what I meant about that thing about like, I don't try to wake people up anymore. Like, stay in the matrix, dude. You should. That's right where you're supposed to be. That's right where everyone needs you to be, because that dude over there, or that woman, or that small child over there that is waking up can't have you popping out of the matrix and being all crazy, dude. How many people do you know that woke up and are like, and you're like, dude, you need to go back to sleep, because you're actually you've woken up to the lower level of the, it's like once you accept the satanic, pedophile, baby eating, lunatic, weird stuff that's going on this planet, right? And you're no longer horrified by it. You're like, okay, dude, don't send your kid to the camp, dude. Like, don't send them to public schools. Like, just stay out of that weird realm, dude. Vet people, dude. I'll give Owen Benjamin a little credit on this one. I don't speak much of him anymore, but if you spend all your time worried about the pedos getting to your children instead of making sure that your children are with you, you've bought into the problem. How about you build a family and you build a reality that isn't about you providing access to your life to these grim predators that are based upon consent. They're all consent oriented, right? Like, you have to consent to it. The people of Ukraine consented to that situation. You know, I don't have any sympathy for that. Like, I don't consent, dude. I'm not going to join their team, either side. Fuck off. I mean, I don't come at it from like a it's not real perspective. I just have begun to see that the more I remove myself in a so I removed myself from the system pretty radically as an alcoholic drug addict once upon a time, right? Like, nobody was coming to get me. I was just loaded, doing drugs, being weird. And none of it mattered then either, right? But now I'm doing it with full consciousness, and I'm like, oh, I see, dude. It's fully dependent upon your participation. Like, yeah, I got to go down to the Chinese military base on Tuesday and buy my bulk goods, dude. And I got to go, I got to go put the blood money in the tank of my car, and I do all this stuff. Oh, well. And I don't mean that flippantly. It's not like I come from this perspective of if we're going to do it, let's do it. And they ain't going to do it. I was talking to someone the other day, Stuart, about there's been one time in my life that I had the true fear, like the true scared human being, like in some sort of sci-fi movie thing, right? So it was about 2 years ago, right when it all kicked off. It was the middle of the night, and I think it had just gone, they just declared the whatevers, and it must have been March. It must have been the middle of March, whenever California had done we're doing the thing. And I went, I was like, all right, I'd been getting ready and, monitoring the whole thing. So I was fully prepared. So I was like, I'm going to go drive down to like downtown LA, Melrose and Hollywood, and see what's going on. Right. Like, no way, dude. People are going to be smoking crack, smoking pickles, getting weird, doing their freaky LA stuff, dude. No way is LA not going to be doing their weirdness, dude. I drive down there, dude, and I'm like, there's no one around, right? I'm on the 101 leaving Westlake, driving on the thing, and I'm going through Agoura, which is a little bit mountainy. And they've got the cones and like the arrows, like lane closure, right? Like lane closure thing. And I go, oh, dude, like, what am I doing out here? I'm going to get stuck up in some checkpoint and get swooped right now, dude. Like, whoa. And it was literally like a but I had the fear, right? I was like, it was literally like they were working on the highway. So I drive down to downtown LA, dude, down to Hollywood. I get off at Cahuenga, and I do the whole Hollywood thing. And I'm like, oh, whoa, dude. There's nobody on the streets of Los Angeles. Nobody. Like Stuart, nobody. I'm literally like gunning it, like just driving through red lights. Like, I was just like, it's that crazy. I'm going to drive through some red lights and see if a cop's even out there, dude. There was nobody on the streets of Los Angeles. I come back that night, dude, and I'm rattled. I'm like, whoa, dude, like, it's on, dude. It is on like that. Whatever we fear, the chicken robots and the military and the blue helmets and all the stuff we've been prepping for, the paperwork and the treaties and the globalism and the camps, they're coming for us, right? I get home, man, and my daughter's up TikToking or whatever, and she's up, and I don't know, it's been one of those weird days with her. And I was like, I go, hey, I go, look, man, between you and me, I've never been scared in my entire life, dude. I'm terrified about what I just saw. Like, I just went and did a drive in our city, and it is trash bags blowing down the street, deserted, dude. And so I go into this mode of like, all right, dude. And I think that's right when I evacuate up to the mountaintop retreat in Summerlin. I'm like, all right, dude. I call my friend in NorCal. And I'm like, dude, what's up? Dude, we come up to your compound? I don't know, dude. And she's like, well, yeah, you can totally come, but you're going to have to live in a separate thing, because I got a compromised immune system, but come on, bring the family on up, dude. It's totally cool. And I call my other friend, who's like the rich widower with her children. I go, hey, I go, dude, like, what are you doing? I go, let's take the families and go up to the compound. And she's like, all right. I go, because she, you know, I'm like the man, like, and I go, we'll hunker down up there. I'm armed, the whole thing. Like, it's all, we're good. We'll make a new world up there. She had a well and overlooking the whole, we were on top of the mountain, right? I get up there, man, and I got the fear. And I go, man, I don't want to get stuck on the wrong side of a military checkpoint right now. And then about 5 days later, Gavin Newsom comes on and he's like, we don't have enough cotton swabs or glass jars for reagent to test everyone. And I was like, well, what did he just say? And he said some big speech. I just hear this one thing because I'm a logistics guy, right? I'm a carpenter. I'm like, oh, like, you got enough nails and 2x4s? Like, I'm listening for this stuff. And I go, did that dude, the governor of California, Mr. Boogeyman, scary guy, global New World Order dude, did he just tell me the reason they're not going to be able to implement what they need to implement to do their scene right now is they don't have enough cotton swabs and reagent jars, glass reagent jars? After that, Stuart, I'm like, you had one chance to get a guy like me. One chance. If they had rolled out the trucks and the chaos, dude, I would still be probably shivering in my boots on top of that hill in Summerlin. The minute I realized they don't have enough cotton swabs, that their show is that inept, that they couldn't even run a good global pandemic, that they fucked that up completely, dude. They had everybody locked in their stupid apartments and stupid houses, and they couldn't keep it together to the point where they actually had to fish out a drug addict on the streets of Minneapolis and run that scam, and that scam even failed. And then they kept the scam after scam after scam. And the only scam that is actually wasn't a scam was that stuff that was going on up in Canada, dude, where they had to launch a war over the Ukraine to cover that one up, dude. So that's where I'm at with it all. Like, I ain't buying, dude. I don't think they have game. I don't think they have the ability to do it. I don't think their robots work. I don't think their chips work. I don't think they got enough cotton swabs to do what they need to do, dude.
Well, then maybe it's time to challenge it then, right? Then maybe now is the time. Where is the organized challenge? Where is the alternative?
Well, I think that what it is it's, I have a friend of mine who got out right before the clamp down, and he's about 3 hours away on the coast. He's doing the same thing I'm doing, and he's like, dude. And what I think's going on is that people like me aren't an anomaly. We are the revolution, because the revolution can't be violent. Like, you know this, right? Like you and I have both studied this to the end. No amount of violence can beat the system. The system thrives on violence. That's their whole energy field. What the system can't beat is Dilligaff. You know Dilligaff, right?
Yeah.
The system can't beat Dilligaff. Dilligaff trumps their whole game, dude. Just Dilligaff it, dude. Does it look like I give a fuck? No, I don't. And it's not because I don't care about the people at the market in Buffalo or the $15 an hour barista, or the person who's horrified at the $100 fill up at the gas tank to go to work, or any of that stuff, or the mom who doesn't have any formula, or the Ukrainian with the cratered apartment. No, I care so much, dude. So that now what? Okay, let my heart bleed. Now what? What can I do? You know what I can do? I can go introduce myself to the cashier down the street and be like, I'm welcome I'm new in the neighborhood, and I'm not here to disrupt your scene. And they look at me and go, that's nice to hear, dude. Welcome. That's the revolution, I think. I think the revolution is literally moving from these urban hellholes of TikTok and supermarkets and shortages and getting up with these people that have been holding it down for generations and being like, hey, I just moved into town. Like, I didn't come to change your town. I came to have your town change me. And then look at you and go, welcome, dude. We're glad to have you, dude. And you go, oh, that's it. And then you sit and you try to grow some squash, raise some chickens, dude. And what are you gonna do if they drop a bomb on your head anyhow, dude? You know.
I'm halfway with you.
Well, it's as a dude who listens, like my canary in the coal mines, Tim Pool, right? Mr. So, and I'm gonna give Pool credit, man, like on a lot of stuff. But what's that dude's trip? What's he into? What gets him excited? Civil War. I have no idea. Dude.
I can tell you.
Civil War. He wants Civil War to because he thinks it's coming. Me, I don't want that. Civil War, dude. What are you talking about? Like, these people want it, and I go. It doesn't need to be any further than your. Look, I'm at war with Owl, and I have been at war for like the last 3 weeks. It sucks, dude. Like it's been brutal, dude. What do I need war? What do I need to worry about the war in Ukraine for? What do I need to worry about the robot chickens for, or the nuclear bombs for? I got my son.
The one thing I've really been thinking of along those lines recently is this monkeypox stuff, and how this is the new hyped thing, which the be afraid, be scared, be scared. And somehow people are more worried about that than the fact that they walk down their streets in their cities and there are homeless people lining the streets and trash everywhere and abandoned homes and closed down businesses. But you want to worry about some virus, which you're practically probably going to have no chance of getting at all, because you've allowed yourself, your brain, to be, as C. Wright Mills put it, psychically raped by the propagandists.
Well, that's funny you bring that up. I think too, you got two things. The one thing I think is it's easier to have a problem you can't fix, because that problem that you're walking over and you're passing by is fixable. And it's fixable because you have the ability to fix it if you're willing to stop being placating it, right? Like you can solve homelessness and all that stuff by not handing out burritos, but by actually like changing the energy field of it. So it's easier to fear monkeypox while you're stepping over homeless people, because like that's mythical, dude. Like, yeah, it's a unicorn, dude. Like, oh, fear the unicorn, dude. And the second thing with the monkeypox is, that if you listen to them break it all down, they're having to make cover stories for the sauce, right? So the monkeypox it has a if you read up it, where's Jordan sent me the thing on Wikipedia, dude. Hold on. It has a tie into the HIV stuff, dude, which is a tie into the original thing that with the coof, dude, so they're covering their story because guaranteed in like the next year or two, all the sauced up people are going to start poxing, dude, or, that's what all that shingles and all that immune deficiency, that's all that, like, dude. They're laying their tracks because, dude, the dum-dums who sauced up and got all weird with that one, like, and have bought into it. Like, it's one thing to have sauced up and been like, yeah, whatever, dude. Like, I don't care, dude. I'll drink dirty pool water, versus the fear saucers and the peer pressure saucers. Like, their immune system's shot, dude, and there's no way for them to get around it. Oh, here it is. Where is it? I don't have my glasses. The monkeypox virus, dude, is this is according this on Wikipedia, dude. It's blah blah blah. It's one of the human. It's got a little coronapox viruses that includes variola, cowpox, and vaccina viruses, dude. This is a scam, dude. Again, and people are gonna buy it because they want to have a reason to put their masks on. They want to have a reason not to. They want to know that they died not because they're of the sauce they took, because they sold out to the big pharma. It's got to be something else, dude. So the monkeypox thing's perfectly timed, dude. Just like the stupid.
I just kind of wish
Roe versus Wade thing.
Yeah, I don't think we should even touch on that one. We'll be here all night. But yeah, it's just more issues that really don't have any tangible impact on your life, but there are issues that do. And if you took just a bit of time and effort to focus on those, maybe you could actually change something. And another piece of advice I've been trying to give out recently also is I don't think people should try to care about every single issue either. I think you should just care about the one thing that you care about and are most passionate about, and just focus all your time and effort, attention on that, whatever it is. If it's the military industrial complex, if it's the Federal Reserve, if it's the political parties, just focus on one of those things. And then collectively, maybe if we had enough people that became experts in critiquing these individual things, maybe we'd have an overall platform to say, hey, here's an alternative.
Well, that goes right to like one of the more valuable piece of advice. So when I became like a forest activist in the 90s, right? You got to remember, like I went to war with the government over the salvage rider. If you looked into that, a horror show, right? So when we got all involved with this forest thing, one of the pieces of advice I was given early on was like, don't try to save the forest. Pick something within the forest and become an expert on that thing and make that your talking point. And I'll always remember there was this gal. She was the dewdrop lady. I always talk about her because she was the dewdrop lady. And wherever you go to all these like things, like at the governor and the Forest Service and whatever, she was always there. And she was the expert on dewdrop, dude. And she would talk about the clouds and the dewdrop and the roots and the whole thing. And she was the dewdrop girl, right? And she was always quite effective, at least for me as a human being, because I saw what like that is like become the expert in something and stop focusing on the big picture. But that is also the, for me, I go, well, what is that, dude? And I to me, I go, I guess I'm trying to focus in on the path of walking the path out of the chaos as chaos, right? Like if I look at what like my gig is, like what's my gig? Like what am I? Because my connection's unstable. Interesting, right on cue. But I think my thing is to face the serial killer inside of yourself. Like that's where I've focused. If people can face the serial killer inside of themselves, or the Hitler inside of themselves, or the Putin Zelensky cutout inside of themselves, I think that we're halfway there with disarming their device, so to speak, is realizing that you want to push the button. Like I want to push the button, dude. Like I'm not today anymore. Like, but as a dude who used to sit and long for mushroom clouds to streak the horizon, like you do have to understand, like you're talking to a dude who used to wake up in the morning and pray to watch Los Angeles just get mushroom clown before my very eyes. And I mean that with all seriousness. I was very dark at that time. And so as the person who wanted to get to the button, if I could have gotten to the button, I would have pushed it without a doubt. Like, if you can get in touch with that entity inside of yourself and heal that desire, what is that? Because that's pain, right? That is metaphysical, spiritual, emotional. That is just pain, right? And what is the pain? And the pain is a world gone mad, right? Like, how about, and instead of, and I've gone the other thing. It's like, it all matters. And then it gets to this point where like, it all matters so much that it doesn't matter at all anymore. Just don't become the button pusher. Walk away from the button. Like, let someone else push the button. And they're not going to push it either, dude. No one's going to push the button, dude. The Chinese aren't going to push the button. The Russians aren't going to push the Pelosi's not going to push the button. AOC, no, none of these people are going to push the button, because at the end of the day, game over is game over, man. Nobody wants the game to. That would be any fun, Stuart. Where would you be if you weren't debating your thesis right now with all the knowledge you have? Of like, dude, do I send that thing across the bow, or do I cuck, or what do I do? Like, I got a wife. I'm like, I'm a fighter. I have the data. Like, what would be the fun if you walked away, right? Like, you got to play the game. The game's what it's all about. Like, that's the beauty of the game. Like, but it is at the end of the day a game. I mean, the consequences of failing the game are, for many of us, eternal damnation, which is, that is worse than a nuclear bomb on your head, brother.
It's the Game of Thrones.
It really is. I mean, I guess, like, just on display, at the end, because only those who are here is, I think I come from that sort of perspective. It's been, like I said, it's been a tough little period here with Owl, man. We've been at each other lately. He's been gnarly, dude. And it doesn't need to be any gnarlier than that. Like, that sucks. And that's all that is. Like, how do you diffuse a 6-year-old? How do you diffuse? I think this ties in perfectly with your thing. So he started, like, because we live in this big property, like, he got a dog at the same time, and it's really hard, learning the dog trip and the whole thing. So today I was live streaming, and he was screaming in the back of the yard, like, and he's on the, like, no tolerance about the screaming, dude. Like, what are you doing, dude? And because if you're a parent, you would know what I'm saying. It just triggers something, like I come running, dude. I even though I know he's not screaming, he's just being a pain in the ass. He's screaming. I dropped everything. People are like, what happened to the stream, dude? I heard the kid screaming, dude. I come around the corner. He's like, the dog won't drink the water. And I'm like, dude, what are you screaming for, dude? Like, you're not allowed to be screaming unless it's like an emergency. Like, dude, what are you doing, dude? I go, you need to go to your room and take a time out. No, blah, 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 blah. And I go, you need to write some sentences. Blah, 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 blah. It turns into World War 15 right there. Goes on for a couple hours, dude. Brutal now, because he's brutal enough, and we're brutal on each other. It diffuses. He feels bad, and I'm bummed, dude. I'm just like, what's the point of this life? What's the point of this life, dude? This dude, whatever, right? So I get super bummed for a bit. We pull it together. We're working out on the bunkhouse. We come and we're sitting at dinner, and I'm like, look, dude. I told you before, if you scream one more time, we're selling all the Legos, dude. Like, this screaming thing's not cool. And it goes on, and he just fully like does not get why the screaming thing is not cool, right? He can't know what it does inside of me, right? As a dad, right? He doesn't, he's doing it for whatever and his thing is. So we're having this thing, and there is no amount of consequences, this or that, to get around this thing, dude. Like literally, like we aren't talking right now. That's why I came in. I was like looking a little shot. I'm like, dude, what am I? My whole project, right? The whole reason I'm doing what I'm doing is about the next generation, right? And that dude and me are like going at it, right? So what does it matter, dude? What's going on in Ukraine or gas prices or whatever? My little dude's like, and me are at war, right? And I can rationally like talk to him. He's a 6-year-old dude. He's like, what? No. And it's a whole thing. And I think that's like where we're at, like in a world, like we're like the adults are trying to talk to these children that don't just have enough life experience to know. Like, that's what I mean. He's like, he's like, you've been giving me consequences for 6 years, dude. I'm like, dude, I'm asking you to write, I will not scream on a piece of paper, dude. I'm gonna, and he's like, I did that. So I'm like, all right, fine, dude. I go, dude, no more consequences. Do what you want, dude. I go, but you know what? I go, he looks at me and he's like, and I go, 15 years from now, when your life is out of control, and you'll look back and be like, that's what no consequences got me. Right. So like me, reverse psychology is like, I signed a piece of paper. I go, dude, no more consequences for you as of today. And I signed it. And he's like, like tomorrow he'll be like, I don't want that piece of paper. I want consequences, dude. That's the thing is with this deal is it's so we're trying to I'm trying to talk to him as like a 52-year-old adult who's been to hell and back and through all the bullshit of life. And he's a 6-year-old. He's like, what are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about, bro? Like, I don't know, brother. So yeah, I'm a little on that. That's why I'm a little like on this, like,
you're a little more pessimistic than usual, that's for sure.
No, it's not pessimism. It's truly hopefulness, dude. I guess I like at the end of the day, Stuart, is like, I truly believe in humanity at the core of my soul. At the core of my soul, I believe that people are good and that the bad people will be found out and realize that they're impotent and that the only reason they do bad things is because of weakness, right? The only reason I lost my mind today on Owl was because I was weak. It wasn't because I was stronger than him. It's because I was weak. Became weak. I hadn't eaten enough. I whatever, spiritual, whatever. And I became weak, dude. And I had to be more powerful, strong. But at the end of the day, dude, I know the truth. I know that was the weakest version of me. It wasn't the strongest version of me. It's the most pathetic version of me, dude. I've had more pathetic versions, but so I truly like, I guess the end thing is, I guess I'm trying to say is like, I so believe in humanity rising above all of this that I can't give these idiots that much credit. I think they're idiots, dude. I mean, you study them, you know how dumb they are. Their hubris is incredible. And I think that's their Achilles heel, dude. They need the gas to flow more than we do. The gas turns off, dude. You think we're not going to figure it out like like humans? Like we'll just be like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, I'm getting there.
We'll buy
like
a
it might
bike.
suck for it might suck for a hot minute. But I don't think it's game over. I think look, there's no way a country like India can still exist. Like, look at India. I mean, don't look at Sri Lanka, but look at India. I mean, what do you got? 1 billion people there?
Mm-hmm.
Look at how they live. That place the wheels haven't fallen off that place yet. I mean, I wouldn't want to like not have a job there, but like it's still moving. There's still like that from the outside, from my perspective of living in like luxurious America, I look at India and I'm like, oh my God, dude. And then I sit here in my bountiful America and I'm like, oh my God, the wheels are going to fall off. The only reason the wheels are going to fall off is because there's shiny rims that can't go through potholes versus, you know, retread tires that you can go down and get retreaded, dude. Like, I think I think India to me gives me hope. If India can get up every day and do whatever the hell India does, they got the nukes, right, Stuart? The Indians got the nukes. So do the Pakistanis, dude, and the Chinese, dude. Those dudes are constantly pushing each other as hard as they can, and they still haven't lobbed a taco at each other or a falafel or whatever, a bindi, whatever the hell it is they eat, dude, you know? So I look at India as if India cracks tomorrow, if India falls apart and burns up and then I'm going to get scared. I watched, dude, during the whole pandemic, I was watching WeOn, dude. I go, if India cracks on this thing, we're in big trouble, dude. India didn't crack. They didn't panic. They have 1 billion people pooping on each other. They ain't worried about nothing, dude. So that tells me that humanity is a beautiful butterfly, dude, that looks like a moth sometimes.
And sometimes his wings are on fire.
Dude, that's not fire, dude. That's the lightning bug, bro. That's phosphorescence, man. That's a bat, dude.
There's a optimistic point to end on, I think.
Yeah, dude. I'm an optimist. I hope I've been a little bit on the like not biting so much, but I'm an optimist. I'm glad we checked in. I don't know how the quality of this was on the whole thing, but top feed, did we have a good signal, dude? I don't know how it went, but I always enjoy talking to you, Stuart, because you don't give me any trouble, dude. You're my friend, man. Like that's the thing, is like we're two dudes who don't believe in war for totally different reasons. And we're both against the same machine at two different ways. But I think eventually, dude, I see a John Deere trucker cap on your head and some little Stewarts and some goats and some chickens and a big old, like, you know, the record breaking squash going on, dude.
It'll be a right cowboy hat out here in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, man. I don't know any other way to do it, man. I've thought about it. I mean, you actually have the academic angle to maybe like slip the paperwork to someone, and maybe they'll read it and be like, oh wow, dude, like, holy smoke, dude, like, dude, the summer beach house for this? I don't know. Or not. I don't know, but I'm running for president, dude. My own reality. I love you. Hey, I love you, Stuart, man. I really do, dude. I appreciate you, man.
Love to you.
If the world ended, Yeah, if the world ended tomorrow, dude, I'm stoked that we spent tonight talking.
Yeah, me too.
But it's not, dude. It's not. In fact, I'm building this little bunkhouse, and I expect you and your wife to come visit me. Get in your American car, dude, and just drive.
Yeah.
Drive out here and come hang out, or fly out here. I'll pick you up at the airport. We'll come and not talk about any of that. I'll put a shovel in your hand and you'll feel the earth, dude.
Yeah, you convert me.
Yeah, I'm gonna or you're gonna convert me, dude, and the world's gonna blow up, dude.
Yeah, I'll bring you nice book stories.
Oh, my brother, dude. Hey, have a beautiful night, Stuart.
If just as a final note, if there is a big white flash, the very first text you're going to get is going to be from me. It's going to be saying, "Look what just happened."
Oh, told you so.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, before you go, dude. So I stumbled onto this channel the other day that lists that the dude just does synopsises of movies and shows, like, I don't know how he gets away with it on YouTube. He just tells you what the movie's all about in like 10 minutes. So in 2013, there was a Spanish movie. What's it called, dude? Hold on, dude. There was a Spanish movie, and there was a Spanish movie. I forget what it's called. There was a Spanish movie, and it was about a pandemic. This is in 2013, about a pandemic that spreads around the world. And the pandemic is that people, when they leave buildings, like, die. And it's all about like this worldwide lockdown, and everybody stays in their thing, and they got to tunnel through and use the subways to get to other buildings, because if they go outside, they die. And I was watching this thing, and I'm like, dude, and it was in Spain, dude. It looks like a pretty good flick, but I'm convinced that it's all just bad scripting. Like I like the movie looked better than the one we just went through. More entertaining. So I think it's popcorn. Yeah. What do you think? On a final note, what do you think's next now?
What, in terms of next global?
What's your 30-day prediction? We should end the show on it. What's your 30-day prediction?
Where are we?
Memorial Day weekend's coming up.
I think the end of June, we will officially be in a recession. That's my next prediction. Next global crisis is going to be economic, and they're going to announce a recession. I think in the first quarter, there was negative growth. And if you get 2 quarters of negative growth, that's technically a recession. So that's my practically guaranteed prediction. So yeah, that's going to be the next crisis. We're going to go from COVID, Ukraine, monkeypox, economy.
COVID trucker protest, Ukraine. Don't forget that trucker protest, dude. That was I'm sensing they need a slate wiper here in the United States of America. I'm sensing a brutal, super Anglo cop killing of a small Black child in the arms of an armed mom in, wait for it, Montgomery, Alabama, dude. Why Montgomery?
Of all places.
Why? Rosa Parks, baby.
Yeah.
The bus strike. It's gonna be that, and it's gonna be a full on rehash of it all, dude, because they need to get rid of the Supreme Court nonsense. They need to get rid of the recession, dude. Those guys can't let the gas is going to go through the roof. They got to bury that, and they got to get everyone to stay home again, and just because the monkey thing ain't going to do it. The recession, nobody cares about, dude. Nobody cares, dude. Like, boy, no, it's no one's going to, where you're going to stop buying gas and milk and all that stuff, dude. Gas, I went to the gas, I spent 150, 175 bucks, dude, on gas for my truck and 3 gas cans, dude. I didn't see anyone hesitating. I didn't see anyone pulling up and being like, I'm out. They're just like, all right, whatever. So I think that the one they got on lock is no. I got to roll that back. The mother who gets blasted with the small child is transgender, dude. Black transgender, dude.
There you go.
Yeah.
And the well
By
guaranteed.
a known anti-LGBTQRSTWXYZ police officer who happens to have been pictured who was at J6 in the background next to the Cowboys who got indicted, dude. There you go.
You've written
that's my I've been detail. by the date is going to be, where's the date here? I'm gonna pull a date too for you, Stuart, just to fully fry your mind when it happens. I am looking at, it's gonna happen. The shooting will go down, or the murder will go down. It's going to be brutal. In fact, it's not going to be a shooting. It's going to be him running over them with the squad car. Really, I'm really conjuring up some details, and it's going to happen on the 4th, so that we can get a nice kickoff after Memorial Day weekend.
The
fully filmed.
The tinder box will be ready to ignite.
Fully filmed with glee in his eyes. As yeah. There you go. That's what I got for you. On a positive note, dude.
Yeah. Definitely ending on a high.
That's how stupid I feel it all is, man. Anyway, Stuart, none of that's gonna happen, dude. We're all on June's gonna be fine, dude. Go pop some tops down by the river and do the watermelon shuffle, dude, with the hoochie coochies. Go, you know what you should do, dude? You're out in Oklahoma. Have you been noodling yet?
No, but I've heard about it and I won't be doing it.
Dude, you and your wife, dude, that's what you should do in June. Go noodling with your wife, dude. Dude, go stick your arm in the thing and let the catfish get on there, dude, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Noodling,
no,
nothing impresses a wife.
I think it'd be more fun to just throw a stick of dynamite in there like they do in the cartoons.
No way. I bet your wife would be like, this is the greatest thing ever. Become a noodling addict, and you guys become noodlers. Just like your whole thing is, let's go noodling on the weekends, dude. Forget about it all. Become noodlers, dude. Record chasing noodlers. No,
I don't think you got much chance.
We'll see you in 2 weeks, brother.
I
Anyway,
think you got more chance of the bombs dropping than that happening.
Wow, dude, I'd go noodling, dude.